Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for the 8th of July, 2021. So, yeah, I didn't do a very good job. Did do a very good job for that one, I guess. I still haven't talked about what I wanted to talk about, right? So, I guess first we should say, what did I want to talk about, right? Well, I guess why not? Well, why not? Well, I was sitting around talking about what I was doing in the game again. So rather than paying attention to what I was saying, I was sitting around thinking about what it was I was doing. Just really, really bad form, right? Really bad form. Actually, probably unless I get really good at this, I shouldn't do that. You know, I could just play back, right, each thing, because you have a playback option for each of your games in Brogue. So you can analyze what you did and figure out why you're such an idiot. Because basically that's what happens in roguelikes, is you get to learn why you're an idiot. It's probably why a physicist likes it, because that's what he does all day anyway, is figure out, oh man, I'm an idiot. Alright, so I was at the conference. They were making me feel like an idiot, right? And that's possibly because, you know, some of the conversations I snuck into, I wouldn't have snuck into in a normal situation, right? In a normal situation, I probably would have ended up not talking to anyone. So, you know, these are if you're going to a new conference, you haven't been there before, you know, with people in the past, it's a little bit worse than your first conference when you were a graduate student, right? When you were a graduate student and you went to your first conference, oh, it's a bad X. Let's try one of these guys. F. Enchanting. I'm going to have to go with K. E. Mapping. H. Monsters. I'll keep using the X for a little while. Okay, leather armor means, oh, this thing's open. Got a ring of light, got transference, awareness, and clairvoyance. Okay, I guess I picked up the transference. Too many bloats. And I'll just leave the X, right? I don't know what that ruby ring is, but I don't need a ring of light for a couple of levels anyway, so. Okay, as long as there are no nasties in there, we're okay. Let's check some of these potions out. Creeping Death. Strength. And life. Alright. That's a really horrible place for creeping death. Looks like it's going to spread everywhere. So we just want to get... Ooh, I dropped an eel in, so the... I'm trying to figure out how I dropped an eel down here. Right? Right, so I haven't used a descent potion. Did he just spawn there? Was there a... I don't remember a pit bloat, but a pit bloat could do it. It was hanging out near a pit bloat, and I did that, but I don't remember doing that. That is such a weird spot. Yeah, that scale mail is nothing to write home about. And I have 9. Feels like there's something there. Apparently not. And as far as I can tell, the entire thing. Let's see if I can... Okay. At least I don't have any evidence that that axe has sort of negative properties, right? So it's cursed, but it's just like -1 or -2 or -3x. We'll see. We did 1 enchanting on it. So it is possible that now it's just a plain old normal axe, which is part of the reason why I kept it around. There's a whip. Okay, and that's why we have incendiary darts. This is why we run. Oh. Okay, so... Alright. Guess we can make it in there. And rings we're basically full of. Guardian Charm, Invisibility. Depth 4. So just about at the spot where we have to start thinking. It's still a -2, so it was originally a -3x. So I'm going to have to switch. So let's... J, telepathy. Brown is detect magic, perfect. Okay, so the whip is not bad. Law of Potion is good. Don't need anything like that. There is an eel. And go with the nude. Okay, so it looks like the only way through there is through the eel. Do I remember what that is? Okay, so everybody died. See, the problem with that, -2 axe is still better than everything else I have. Alright, so not great jelly fighting form there. Axes are good for jellies. Probably a less cursed axe would be better for jellies. And more strength is good with the axe. The transference is good as well with an axe. Not so good with the other guys. Now, the other guys aren't any good anyway, so we don't have to worry too terribly much about them. There's the exit. I don't think I saw anything else anywhere anyway. Okay, I don't have any reason to play with those. Scrolls. Potions are almost certainly bad. So to live with that as a constraint. Okay, so there I've gotten distracted by the game again. As I may have said, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't play the game too much, so not too worried. So I went to the conference, probably because I was intruding on conversations that I wouldn't have done in person. I was treated badly because I was being rude, right? People wanted to get something out of the conversation, and I was not what they wanted to get out of, right? So, but the entire thing is, this is worse than being a graduate student. So being a graduate student, go to these conferences, you're not alone. You go to these conferences, you're going there with somebody from your group at least. You know people, right? Like your advisor, and maybe some other graduate students, maybe a postdoc, somebody that works with you. Maybe not your best friend, but somebody that you know. And these people introduce you to other people, right? That was an idiot move. And so you go to the next conference of the same type with the same people. You have, okay, so this is test my theory. Whatever that was, it was good. So I wasted either a levitation or a fire immunity. So I was hanging out with, so then when you go to later conferences, right, it's not so bad because you already know people, right, in the same field, right, which is what you're doing, is you're conferring with people in your field. You wander off into a new field or something like that, then you don't know anybody again, right? And I found this before. I found this when not necessarily even in new fields. I found that, when I went to the big physics meeting. I think it stopped responding. The March meeting, the AAPT, not AAPT, the APS March meeting. Found that it was just an awful experience because I didn't know anybody, right? And, being an introvert, like I'm saying these other guys probably are, right, because they're physicists, that's not really a great place for me, actually. This is one of these weird things. When I worked at NYU in the basement once. One of the graduate students, so it was a good program. I was looking at HBCU. I got a chance to work with somebody with a real research program rather than whatever it was I was pretending to do. It's an HBCU Slack, so it's a black college, and it's a liberal arts college both, right? So liberal arts includes science, so it's not like it's all about theater. Remember one woman I knew who called her alma mater a liberal arts college, and it probably was, but for her, liberal arts just meant arts college, right? So, oops, this is bad. So she went there for theater. Basically, everybody went there for some kind of that particular place. People basically went there for theater, or I think it was basically theater stuff. She went there and she was a part-time stage manager, full-time barista, of course, and yeah, so that's what she thought of with the liberal arts college. What I thought of was some place where you study liberal arts, you study literature, you study history, you study science, and you study these things to get a good idea about the world and learning and stuff like that. And in my brain, in the back of my brain, the people who go there are actually interested in things. It's not really true, but actually, even at this sort of mid-ranked university, mid-ranked SLAC, the students were much more interested in things than at the big R1 top 50, right? R1s in the US. So they're very, very good, the students, but they lack any interest, right? They're there to get a job when they leave. It's an extension of high school. It's not something to learn, right? It's something to get a credential. So I'll have to continue, but I think we've gotten through this thing with these people. It turns out I'm a little more, one of the graduate students at NYU, when I was on this program there, called me an extrovert. Now, people I knew in New Orleans at the time, they thought that was the funniest thing when I told them, because I'm such an introvert, but for a physicist, right, I am an extrovert, which means I'm only 90% instead of 100% introverted, I guess. And yeah, so next time, so when we get back to the conference was all was doing rude things, getting into these conversations with people, but because they're all introverts, that really annoyed them. And it feels worse than when you're in an initial situation like you would be as a graduate student, like I was when I was going to the MMM meetings and the intermag meetings and things like that, because I was going with people. And then when, later I was, a research professor and things like that, I already knew people, right? People who've been graduate students with me, people who've been going to these things with me for years. So going to the conference was, going to go hang out with my friends, right? And that's where it is eventually. But in this particular case, I wasn't part of the quantum gravity community. I wasn't part of the quantum foundations community. So I had no friends, right? And it was really awful. So, yeah, I think that's the introduction. Hopefully I don't have to go through this again. I think I tried to not go through this each time, but I want a little bit of background for people who didn't watch the last one, which is almost everybody, right? So, anyways, this was a little bit of a problem, but it wasn't too much of a problem. I did get a lot out of the conference. I liked the conference a lot, so I'll talk a little bit more about that conference, that workshop a little bit more, and then I'll talk about my ideas, the things that are bubbling up in my head a little bit after that. I'm not sure which I'll do more of.